Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to the week 2 live lecture. What's going to happen is I'm going to uh, go over some of the student samples from the library research assignment and the outline that you're all doing currently. Okay. Some people have turned in outlines a little early, and so I finished grading today. I graded all the library research stuff, and I graded the outlines that were turned in. And I downloaded the few student samples. I changed your names from them, and I don't even remember who they were. Okay, so I'm gonna put them up here and essentially correct the errors, um, and so that way y'all can look at that and not make the same mistakes on your future work as well. Okay, um, and so again, this is not a public shame. It's just that the best thing is to go over actual real life errors rather than for me to hypothesize what might be an error. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and Alyssa, since you're the only one here who is live, you need to make sure that if I'm talking about something and showing something on the screen that you can see it. If it seems as if I'm talking about something that you can't see, you gotta let me know. All right. Cool. All right. Will do. Thumbs up. All right. So look, this is the library assignment example. Okay. This is what I gave for y'all. All right. Um, so you were going to have one. Just review all of this. Okay. You need to have your last name and the page number top right corner. Now I did notice someone pointed out to me that the original cut version this that I uploaded did not have the last name in all caps. That was my fault. I did not take off any points for this week for anybody who turned in a library assignment that did not have the last name in all caps. Okay, but that is actually technically a part of MLA formatting, is to have the last name in the upper right hand corner to be all caps. So I fixed it here. So you should have your last name and page numbers. Okay, and the page numbers, when it's inserted correctly, they will automatically change 1, 2, and so forth, 3. Okay, you needed your last name, you needed my last name, the English, and due dates. So like this assignment, I mean, really, you could have turned it in as late as June 1st, but the due date was the 28th. Okay, so like this would have said June 28th, 2023. Okay, select all. If I select all, right here says Times New Roman, and this is 11. That means the whole document is 11-point font and Times New Roman. If one little thing was different, let's say my name was like 12. Okay, if I do select all, look, this is blank. That means that there are two different fonts in this whole document. It could be just one little thing like my name, or it could be a whole paragraph, right? The best bet is to highlight it all, and if this is blank, then type in what you want it to be. Okay, let's say 2023 was, for whatever reason, written in a different font. Like, let's say, Arial. Thank you. All right. If I did select all, this would be blank. That means that there are two different fonts here. To play it safe, you should just always make sure that when you hit select all, there's something here and there's something here. That means the entire document is this font and this size. Okay. All right. Now let's check select all formatting. When I go to formatting, here it says 00 double. The whole thing says 00 double. That means the entire document is consistent with its formatting. The entire document has 0 space before, 0 space after each line, and every line is just simply double spaced. Okay, it is what it is. So that's good. Okay. Now when I select my paragraphs, okay, all my paragraphs, if you notice here, it's the formatting is set to justify. Now, if I do select all, it goes blank because the entire document is not justified because the title is centered because titles should be centered. Okay, but everything else, this is justify. This is justify. When I highlight everything that isn't the title, everything but the title, it's all here, justified. Okay, that's the way it should be. All right. So one of the most common errors that I saw was incorrect formatting. Okay. So let's look at this. Oh, that's mine. Okay. Matthew. Okay. So the first thing I do always is like check formatting. So I do select all. The whole thing's Calibri, the whole thing's 11. I don't care if it's Calibri or Arial or Times New Roman. It doesn't have to be, for my class, Times New Roman. Okay. It can't be like agency. Okay. No. It can't be a Haroni or Allahabadi. Okay. It can't, definitely not Algerian. It can't be any of those. Okay. It can be your 3 basic: Calibri, Times New Roman, Arial. Okay. Those are okay. As long as it's consistent. It's consistent. Now let's go to paragraph. Look, 00 double. Good job, Michael Matthew. 00 double. It's very good. Okay. Now, heading. Cool. Justify. Title. Cool. Centered. Paragraphs. Ah, look. It's not highlighted. That means there's inconsistencies. If it was all justified, it would say this would be highlighted, but it's not. And like if I were to highlight this, okay, this is justified. Good job. If I were to highlight everything else, now it's blank because there's inconsistencies. Which I already know that because when you look over here, you can see the inconsistency. See how this is like a jagged mountain range. Okay, we were just in California, and the California mountains go all the way down the entire state, and it's like these like soft hills. It's not the Rocky Mountains, but it is a mountain range. So, but like on the left side, see how it's just straight down. It's all nice in unison. That's the way we want it. So we're going to highlight, and we're going to select justify. Boom. There it is. Now, it looks like the way it does if you were to open a book. Books are justified. Okay. Now we need to fix this hanging indent. This needs to be a hanging indent because this is a citation. So you got to do that. Okay, that's correct. Okay. Now, let's talk about the arrangement. Some people lost points because, as I discussed in the lecture, I specifically talked about the order in which your citations go in this assignment, and they should not be be based on the order of the things you're researching, like gaslighting and weaponization of sexuality, those kind of things. It needs to be organized the way that you organize a work-related page, which is based on the first letter of the last name of the authors. It could be alphabetical order. So like M, H, and then here we have a problem. Okay. Um, Gavi Klein, Audrey Gibbs. Okay. So Gavi is the first name, Klein is the last name. So this in general is incorrect because when you have two authors' names, first off, the last name needs to come first of the first author. So Klein. And we know this because look, we take this. Let's see if this is the correct URL. Ah, oh, you might not be able to see this. I'm checking the website. Let me share my. Let me do a new share. What is happening? All right, here we go. So I typed in, I just copy and pasted the URL and brought me to this. Okay, this is the website. All right, this is the article, which is actually my article. I kind of showed you all this one. Okay, so I would have preferred you to have just your own, but whatever. Klein and Audrey Gibbs. So Klein is the last name. So that go back now to this works cited page. Well, this is annotated bibliography. Okay. All right. You need to have what are that person's name? Actually, I want to check make sure I didn't do it this way. Yeah. Okay. I had it correct. Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks for there. Gavi. So Gavi. All right. And then when you have two authors, you put the last name of the first author, followed by their first name, and then you have and and then you put the next author's name, but you don't put it in reverse. You just put it so it's like last, first, the word and then first, last. Okay. All right. So because it's K, H, this citation needs to move. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to delete it. Because it should go H, K, M. Because that's alphabetical order. All right. If you were to do this library assignment, this is essentially called an annotated bibliography. All right. This is what it is. This is an annotated bibliography. If you're taking a psychology class, you might have to turn in an annotated bibliography for your paper. If you're taking an advanced literature course, if you're taking a history class, you're writing papers, your professors might ask what's called an annotated bibliography. Or sometimes in literature, I'm sorry, not literature, in psychology, they call it a literature review. And a literature review is just another term for an annotated bibliography. And so this type of assignment pops up in other courses. And they're going to have you do the same thing. They're going to have you read articles, read literature of a topic, and write summaries of what that information is about. And they might say you need 5, you might need 8 sources, and you will need to organize those sources alphabetically based upon the last name of the author. Okay, so it's not in order of research topics; it's in order of last name. H, K, M. A lot of people in this class, a lot of you organized it based on topics. Okay, but I specifically discussed in the lecture not to do it based on topic, but based on the last name of the author. Okay. Now, the next thing also is that many people not italicize the titles of the periodicals that the information came from. I did a whole slide about when to use quotation marks and when to use italics. You use quotation marks for the titles of short stories, the titles of poems, the titles of songs, okay, of articles. But you use italics when talking about movies, films, names of books, and the names of periodicals or publications.
Yeah, my camera's not up.
Let's see, you have a question?
I love you, baby.
Do you have a question?
Sleep okay?
Yeah, it's not fun.
Talk later, all right?
I think it's off by accident. So, like for this example, International Social Science Review, this should be in italics. MS Magazine should be in italics. The New York Times should be in italics. Also, okay, when you're talking about these things in your article, in your actual review, let's see, if you mention the names of these periodicals, they should also be in italics. Which this one, nope. Okay, good. All right. All right, so those are some things to watch out for. Let's look at this one. Okay, by Muhammad. So again, select all. Oh, look, there's inconsistency somewhere. This is not all one font. You would need to change that. Go to paragraph. Look, this says 0, but after says 8. The line spacing is blank. This after needs to be 0. And line spacing needs to be double. Okay, see, look, do you see how it changed a little bit? Okay, that's important. Paragraph, it's all jaggedy. It's not a line to justify. It's a line to left. So we need to highlight, do that. It changed. Okay, so here is the citation. But look, Salem Press Encyclopedia, that's the publication. That needs to be in italics. Scientific America, italics. Vanity Fair, gotta totally italicize it. All right, D, S, D, that is out of order. So page suite, copy, delete, need to switch with Armida the off. That way it's alphabetical now. Okay, there's that. Now let's see. Okay, any more other errors? Okay. All right, right here. A lot of people are making this error. Punctuation goes inside of quotation marks. Punctuation goes inside of quotation marks. The only punctuation that doesn't really go inside of quotation marks is colons and like semicolons. Those don't. But periods, commas, they go inside of the quotation mark. Let's see. I think that's all for this one. All right, those are the errors for Muhammad's. I think that was Muhammad. Okay. That was Mike. All right, Jordan Jackson, not a real person. Okay. Already looking at this, you can see some stuff. There's irregular space between these. This is not full spaced. It's all jaggedy right here. This paragraph is not incorrectly formatted. It's corrected. I mean, it's formatted like a citation with this hanging indent. This hanging indent is used for citations, but this is not used for paragraphs. So that needs to be fixed. Okay, which we'll do right now. And then we have the whole paragraph that's not even double spaced. Okay, so just looking at this, I know that the formatting is obviously wrong. But again, though, even if I didn't look at that, all I have to do is highlight the entire document. All right, at least it's all Times New Roman. It's all 12. That's good. But then go to paragraph. Blank, blank, blank. If there's blanks, it means it's inconsistent. So we got to type it in 0, 0, double. This makes everything the same. Boom. That's fixed. Go down here. That's fixed. All right. This is just not even there. Okay. All right. Now let's fix these paragraphs. If for whatever reason the formatting is fixed, like for whatever reason this won't be able to come over here, you look up here. This is controlling your format. So if you try moving it, okay, and it's not letting you do it, you have to rematch these two things up. Take this, bring it over here, and then click on the smaller one, bring the whole thing over here, so it's all lined up, and then hit tab for that first line. Okay, that's how you fix that. Same thing with this. Pull this over, and then pull the whole thing over. There we go, and hit tab. Oh, tab again. There you go. Right, over and back, and tab. All right. Now look, jagged, 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 jagged. Okay, so highlight here. Look, it's all to the left, all highlighted right here. Oops. So we need to come over to justify. See, it says justify. Boom. Correcto. All right, New York Times. Sized. Great. Good job. BuzzFeed. Sized. Great. Good job. The Atlantic. Sized. Fantastic. Way to go. Okay. Oh, there's a little error right here. Again, all of these are mostly having problems with formatting. Okay. The major things I'm looking at is formatting and grammar, using quotation marks correctly. Integrate. I'm going to show you an example of someone who did not integrate their quote at all. Okay. And I am, I'm not necessarily evaluating whether or not like it's a good summary or not. My main focus right now is just getting it to all look college level. Okay, that's the most important thing that I'm really looking at here. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, so here's some things I want to point out. Amelia Arnold, all highlighted all. We need to fix Times New Roman. This is the last one I'm going to go over library assignment. Next, I'm going to do the outline. Times New Roman, okay. 11 or 12, doesn't matter. Okay. Paragraph 00 double. Perfect. Look at that 00 double. That's great. Okay. We're going to highlight from below the title. Look, it's to the left. We need to change it to specify. Good. Okay. If you were going to copy and paste your citations from EasyBib, which is fine. I mean, I showed you EasyBib. I put a link there. Okay, it's great. We still got to do a little bit of like fixing. For one, when you copy and paste from EasyBib, it's highlighted often for whatever reason. Okay, it's not actually a real highlighter. It's like a background shade. You have to go to it, and then you have to go up here to this little paint, the shading. Make sure it's on white, and click it. And then usually it turns off. Now in this case, it doesn't. So you're like, oh my god, okay, it doesn't do that, and it's not a highlight because when you go to unhighlight it, it's still there. Okay, what you do is, if that's the case, there's this thing right here that is erase all formatting. Okay, click it. Now it makes it all funky like this because this is like OG text. So all you do, once you've erased all formatting, you go here, you go back to Times New Roman, you go back into paragraph, you go to well, and it's cool again. Now the only problem with this though, of course, is that it does not have the hanging indent. And if you click on the line that you want to indent, the whole thing's gonna go over. That's not what you want. So instead, you go to the end of the previous line and hit tab. End of the previous line, hit tab. This line right here, I want tabbed in, so I go to the previous line, the end of it, and I hit tab. And this is just what you do. Okay, now it's correct. All right. Okay. So here we have the sentence says Nina talks about how women are framed as objects for men in classical cinema, using examples from her documentary, Brainwashed, Sex Camera Power. Okay, documentary is a film. Titles of films are not in quotation marks. I discussed this last week. Highlight, make italics. She says it can be very hard when you are a fan. She says it harbors rape culture. Okay, come on. commas. They go inside quotation marks. Right here. He also explains that patriarchy has no gender. Okay. Delete. Comma. And we're not saying if you have a male body, you make this kind of movie. It doesn't make that. Okay. So that's good. Now, look. You do not have to capitalize your word, every first word of a quote before you, when you're integrating it. Only capitalize it if it's supposed to be capitalized. Okay. However, she also explains that, and it's like this patriarchy right here is capitalized. So if you're referring to the patriarchy in this pronoun form, I guess you could do capital P. But if this was just a regular use of the word, it could be lowercase. All right. The only time that you have a capital is if instead of having that, if you have this verb, she exclaims. Okay, if you have a verb like she exclaims or she says, or she argues. Okay, if you have a verb like that, then you have a comma, and then you capitalize. Like for example, right here, you just have the word and. We're not saying if you have a male body, you make this kind of movie. It doesn't break down, blah blah blah. This we do not capitalize because it's not a speaking verb. It's not a verb declaring it. Here we have a verb. She exclaims, she says, she argues. Therefore, then you have a comma and a capital letter. Once you include the word that, then you get rid of the capital letter. And it's just lowercase. These are stupid little things that like whoever designed English created. Okay, these are like little rules that are going to take you, some of you, a long time to remember. It's just one of those things. It's just these little changes that, oh, okay, if you follow a verb with a quote, you capitalize, but the verb has to be a declaring verb like says, exclaims, argues. But if you follow a quote after the word that, then you don't have a comma. It's just one of those things that you just have to kind of remember. Okay, so sorry. Okay, it's like right. So this right here. To do this, it goes over a play called Pathetic. Okay, a play. A play is like a film. So a play is not in quotation marks. A play is in italics. Films, plays, publications, books, all in italics. Okay. Those are my main points I'm going to make about the annotated bibliography / library assignment. Okay. If I made comments on any of your work individually, and you want some feedback more about what I'm talking about, feel free to email me and let me know. Okay. Let's look at a few outlines. Okay. So Marshall Blue, he turned in a great outline. Okay. I mean, there's a few errors, like my name, but still. So this outline, okay, she has her heading. My name is not Briars, it's Byers. Okay. There should be no extra line. There should be no extra spaces between. Like this needs to be 0, and this should be double. Okay, you need to delete this. And delete that. But what makes this good is that, look, she has her introduction. Men are able to control women through the gender roles they've placed. Okay. Thesis statement, we have story of an hour. Feels like white elephants. Where are you going? Where have you been? Okay. Main point 1 is about story of an hour, which connects here. Here's a primary quote from the story. This is a quote from the story of an hour. She has a secondary quote from a secondary source, a source that is not of the story. The source is written by Philip Bovik. Okay, that's a secondary source. Your primary source is the short story. The secondary source is an outside source that you're using to argue your point. Okay? Main point 2, hills like white elephants. And then we have our primary quote from the story, and then we have a secondary quote from the author Nee. Main point 3, about where you're going, where have you been. We have a primary quote from the story, and then she has a quote from Demopolis. Sounds Greek. And then we have the works cited page, where she has the three sources that she's using in her essay. Okay. Now I'm going to give you this for week 3. I'm going to post a document that has the correct citations for the for essay 1. Okay, I have it somewhere. I'll post it for you. All right. So that way it has, you will just have to like copy and paste the correct citations. So like you don't have to worry about that. I will post that and you'll just be able to copy and paste the correct citations. I'm trying to see if I see it right now. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to post this, okay, and you can just copy the short story citations. I need to add, this is from last semester, I had to add different stories. I'm going to make an updated version for you, for all of y'all. And so on your essay 1 rough draft, you'll actually be able to just copy and paste and put in the correct citation. So don't worry about that, okay? For this outline, I'm just focused on the 3 secondary sources, all right? Hey buddy, that's what I want to see. This is my dog, Archie. Archie, let's see. Hey buddy. Yeah. No, I wasn't calling you over here. I was just trying to show you off, man. Like this student right here, they said this was the outline that they posted, and a lot of it was incorrect, and I just wanted to show it to you so that people don't make the same mistake. This is by Mary Masterly, who is not real either. Okay, she posted this, analyzing the patriarchy in Hemingway's Hills Like White Elephants. Okay, short stories need to be in quotation marks. There should be no additional spaces between lines. So let's look at the formatting. See, there's inconsistency, 0, 0, should say. Okay. This should be capitalized, quotation marks. All right, so we have our introduction, fine, cool. Statement. The female character's struggles in Hemingway's Hills Like White Elephants are explored, and this is done through the use of symbolism and setting, as the struggles under the weight of patriarchy and the social expectations that come with it are explored by Hemingway as he highlights the existential dread experienced by the female characters. Now, in the Hills Like White Elephants, there's only one female character, so I don't know by the female character in general. Okay. So point 1 is the use of symbolism. It's fine. Okay. Primary quote. She said, "The lovely hills, they don't look like elephants." Okay, so we have a quote. All right, and then we have a secondary quote. And these are more quotes from the story. Okay, that's incorrect. Secondary source should be a source that's talking about symbolism. Someone else talking about the use of symbolism. This is not, your secondary source is not a second quote from the story. It is a secondary source from an outside source. Meaning here, main point 2, the power dynamics and setting in Jake's life. Okay, fine. So right here we have some quotes from the story by Hemingway. And the secondary quote, the secondary source should be not by Hemingway. It should be by an outside source, the second outside source. And then the same thing with main point 3. Okay, like this essay, this outline does not have any outside sources. Why when I go down to the works cited, all it is the short story. Okay, that's incorrect. Submitted outline lost 8 points because each outside source is worth 10 points. Okay, so if you're working on your outline right now, you want to make sure that you have your sources, which if you did the library research, then you should be able to just pull quotes from that to apply to your analysis. Okay, that is what you're aiming to do. Okay, so if you have any questions, of course, email me. I'll be around. Next week, I will be grading much sooner than Friday. I'll probably start grading Monday or Tuesday. Okay, I just had some things going on, so I couldn't get to grading until today and yesterday. So next week, though, I'll be grading much earlier in the week. Okay. All right. And if you did not turn in if you have not turned in the previous assignments for Unit 1, you can still do that next week. All right. So if you got a 0 for the library research assignment, you can still submit it for a late grade. But once we're done with Unit 1, once Essay 1 is submitted, you cannot turn in the library research assignment anymore because it serves no more purpose. Okay. Same thing with outline. If you don't turn your outline in by Monday morning and I grade them and you get a 0 for it, you can still turn in the outline one for a late grade up until we turn into Essay 1. But once we're done with Essay 1, I'm no longer going to take the outline. All right. You can still pass this class if you make A's on all your papers and don't do any of the classwork. Okay. So, don't freak out, and I'm not going to take sob stories. All right. If you get a 0, get your work done before the cutoff date, and you can get a 70, and your grade will go back up. Okay. All right. Alyssa, do you have any questions before we go? I'm going to take that as a no, unless you're typing. I cannot see if you're, okay, no, great. Okay, well, if you do later or anyone else has any questions, just send me an email. All right, we are dismissed. See y'all later. I'll send out a date when the next live session is. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.